Hello, my name is Sophie Pennell, and this is my presentation for my application for the Future Theater Educator Scholarship. Firstly, my teaching and leadership portfolio. 2 summers ago, I was a daytime kids camp counselor at Lifetime Fitness, where I would take care of kids from infants to 12-year-olds. My first true leadership position was as vice president of our thespian board, which I was elected for at the end of my junior year, and am currently serving as for my senior year. Lastly, last summer I participated as a counselor for my school's theater summer program, in which I choreographed a number of dance routines and directed a number of scenes, songs, and monologues for soon-to-be high schoolers wanting to pursue theater. Next, my design portfolio. My first experience with design was designing the makeup, hair, and masks for the Fantastics. Each ensemble member was required to wear a mask that fit the Commedia dell'arte style that we were trying to create for this production. You can see an example of one of the masks in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Next, I was the makeup and hair designer again for our next fall production of The Matchmaker. I was constricted to stay within the 1880s hairstyles, so as you can see directly above the text, we have one of our lovely ensemble members in a classic 1880s hairstyle with a bun in the back and the bump in the front. In the photo directly next to hers, we have our Barnaby, who I wanted to give a somewhat younger look. This is why I decided on a middle part for the hair and slightly more blush than the other males in our show. Lastly, I also did the set design for a production of The Matchmaker, which you can see an example in the photo next to the Commedia dell'arte mask. This set was of the Act 2 hat shop in The Matchmaker. There were 4 acts in this play. I played with all pastels to give a more feminine look in comparison to, say, Horace Vandergelder's room, which would be mostly neutrals and more of a rustic feel. This experience was one of the most challenging things I have ever done, since it was my first time doing anything close to designing something as important as set. My first directing experience was one I will never forget. It was before I went on to be a counselor in my school's theater summer program. It was for my final in my advanced theater honors class during sophomore year. I volunteered to direct the Goody Proctor accusation scene. I gave all the actors notes during our virtual read-through and talked through each of their characters with them. All of the blocking, costume design, makeup and hair design, set design, and prop design were done by me, while the light design was done by someone in the cast. Here is a video of Proctor's monologue from this scene.
Out of my house. Drop your down, Mr. Warren. Out of my house, out of my sight. You're the deputy governor's workman. Damn the deputy governor. Out of my sight.
No, Proctor.
You are a croaking minister. Out of my house.
Proctor, if she is innocent.
If she is innocent, how come they never wonder if Paris is innocent? Or Abigail? Is the accuser always holy now? Were they born this morning as clean as God's fingers? Vengeance is walking in Salem. We are what we always were. But now, the crazy children are taking the keys of the kingdom. This warrants vengeance, and I will not give my life to vengeance.
I'll go, John.
You will not go! John, I'm outside, John. I cannot budge.
This experience is what started my passion for teaching theater. Here's a brief rundown of what my teaching method would be for a monologue. First, we would talk through the foundation of the exercise. In case of a monologue, this would be talking about the play and the context of the play. I would ask them what they know and fill in any other information they would need to know for their character that they might be missing. Next, we would discuss the building blocks of the exercise, which in case of a monologue would be the emotional beats that the actor must take to convey the story. We would write each one down in their script and take the monologue slowly through a read-through. Next, I would have the actor perform it for me full out and then ask them what they feel like they can do better and then give them my own constructive critiques. That way they have critiques from themselves and critiques from an outside source. Lastly, my passion for teaching has been fabricating itself over the past 3 years of my life. Firstly, I watched the counselors work at a camp I participated in called Riverway Ranch Camp. I applied and was approved to be a counselor in training at the same camp, which I unfortunately was not allowed to follow through with because of COVID. My experience with directing that crucible scene that I previously mentioned and being a theater camp counselor truly launched my passion for educational theater. I realized that my love for performing was equal to teaching others to perform. This way, I can teach people to do what they love while still doing what I love. Thank you so much for watching and considering me for your scholarship.